Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Isaac from Guns for Everyone. Right off the bat, gotta say a prayer to Santo Edgar. Santo Edgar, please help this video to not suck. All right, slight piece of housekeeping. I'm trying out this microphone. I've used it a couple of times. I haven't been super excited about the results. I've changed some of the settings, so hopefully this is better. I do recognize that the audio has sucked the last couple of videos. We have a podcast. I would, I talk about this channel. I don't care about subscribers on this channel. For the podcast, I do care about subscribers. So if you want to go check us out, you can find us on YouTube on the main Guns for Everyone channel. But we're also on a bunch of new podcasts, or not new, but we're newly on a bunch of podcast apps. So I use AntennaPod on my phone. I don't know what you use, but if you search for Guns for Everyone and you find it, that you can listen to our episodes. If you don't find it on your podcast app, please put it in the comments. Tell me, hey, I looked on this whatever and it wasn't there, and we'll see about getting it added. Our latest episode was last night, and we had a really interesting conversation with an instructor named John. His company is Seven Hills Security up in Larimer County, and I strongly encourage you to go check that out. A really good discussion about what's going on with the concealed carry training requirements and the sheriff's departments and the states and the instructors and all kinds of stuff. And it kind of ties into what I want to talk about today. So if you're really interested and you watch this video and then you go watch that video or you go listen to that podcast, I'd really like to hear what you think, either in the comments of that podcast or the comments here in this video. As usual, I don't care about subscribers. I don't care about likes or dislikes. I do care about comments, and I'm really going to ask you guys in this video to please let me know what you think in the comments, because this is a difficult topic, or let's say a complex topic. I did a podcast episode with Free State Colorado. If you're not familiar with his channel, go check it out. It's on YouTube. He interviews people from around Colorado talking about issues related to freedom, and he had me on last week, and I think the episode posted on Monday. And the episode was about the new concealed carry training requirements and what's required and what are the struggles and challenges and so forth. In the comments, this guy tends to attract let's call it a libertarian leaning crowd. And in the comments, there were a lot of people saying, not only will I not comply, them saying for themselves, not only am I not going to comply, but you are the problem if you comply, and you are the problem if you help facilitate this. So we've been doing free concealed carry classes for 13 years, over 100,000 students. That's a lot of complying with what we agree is an unconstitutional requirement. So, are we making it worse? Is Guns for Everyone making it worse? And this topic came up again for us. We've had this discussion many times over the years. It came up again as we discussed what are we going to do about the new licensing scheme for you to be able to buy something like this in Colorado. Starting next year, you're going to have to go through a bunch of training and get an ID card and pass a test or something. I got to review the requirements, but you're going to have to do a lot of things. And Edgar and I have been discussing this. Are we going to offer that class and that training certificate for free, or do we just opt out and say we're not doing that? We're not going to provide that. And it's a difficult question. Let me come at it from one point of view. People saying that they're not going to comply. They're just going to do what they do. I got a lot of that in the Free State Colorado episode. People saying, I don't need a permit. The Second Amendment is my permit. I carry if I want to, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm sympathetic to that. I carried for a long time without a permit in Colorado. The only reason I got a permit in Colorado is when I became an instructor. I felt like it was a little weird or hypocritical of me to be working in this process and not have a permit. So now, as an instructor in the state of Colorado, I need to have a permit. You can't be a verified instructor without a permit. I don't like any of this. I hate this. And I hate this question. If I choose to not participate, if I choose to not get a concealed carry permit, if I choose to carry without one, I'm risking a misdemeanor charge. It is a gun charge, so it's not your average misdemeanor charge. Anytime you're dealing with a gun charge, that's a little bit more serious. In addition to that, if I do get caught, it's possible I could have my firearms rights revoked for a period, I believe, of up to 2 years if I take the conviction on the firearm charge. But that's not all I'm risking. I would be risking my job if I got my day job. If I got arrested and charged with a crime, I have to tell my employer, and if I don't, I get fired, and if I do, I might get fired. So I'm risking my family's well-being, and that's not trivial. That's not trivial. But the bigger issue here is, what does it accomplish? Well, it makes me feel better. I mean, as long as I don't get caught, right? It makes me feel like an outlaw, which is fun. And it makes me feel like I'm better than everybody else, which is really fun. And I get that. But what does it accomplish? For you on a personal level, it might accomplish a feeling and maybe a personal ethic, which is, again, that's important. But what does it accomplish for the state? Nothing. Nothing. You get popped for that, you're just one other dude without a permit carrying a gun around. The cops don't care. The DA doesn't care. Eventually, the jury, they're not going to care. The news won't care. Maybe your friends will tell you, like, they'll high-five you and, like, yeah, you're a real G. And you are, but nobody cares. So your non-compliance, what does it accomplish? And what are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to keep this state pointed in the right direction when it comes to firearm rights. And we're not doing a very good job right now. And the main reason we're not doing a very good job is because gun owners are not engaged in protecting their rights in this state. Less than 1% of gun owners in this state are actually doing anything to protect their rights. There's a little over 2 million gun owners in the state of Colorado. So that means, what is 1% of 2 million? This shouldn't be that hard, but it is. Would that be 20,000 or 2,000? 2,000, 20,000? Whatever. It's not that many. And we're not getting it. We're not getting engagement. When we have our... this is bugging me now, so I'm just going to have to do this. All right. 2... Yeah, 20,000. When the assault weapons ban, let's just call it, that's not exactly what it is, but when that was being discussed in the committees at the Capitol building, we did not have 20,000 people showing up to testify. And when the law passed, we don't have 20,000 people organizing recall efforts against the vulnerable legislators who voted yes on the bill. And that kind of thing works. I know people don't believe it works, but it worked in 2013, and it would work now. But we can't get 20,000 people to get off their asses and do something, and that's only 1%. So resisting by not following the law is your prerogative and your own balance and risk and benefit. But the benefit to the state is not there. It's not true. You are not helping the state by ignoring the law. You might be hurting the state by ignoring the law. I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm just saying, if we have news stories about people who are pro-gun getting popped and arrested, charged, and convicted for breaking gun laws, that doesn't help. That doesn't help the overall argument. I'm not telling you to get down on your knees and gargle these laws. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, simply telling people that you don't care about the law and you're going to do what you want does not create the conditions to improve this state when it comes to gun laws. Does participating in it improve it? I don't know. I really don't know. I think about this all the time. I don't know if me doing free classes helps. I don't know if Edgar doing free classes helps. I don't know if it helps the state. I think it does help people. I think it does help the people who come to the classes and who need to take the class to get the permit so that they can carry the gun legally and protect themselves. I think offering the class for free and participating in that way helps those people. but I don't know if it helps the state. Maybe what it does is helps engage more people. We have over 600,000 concealed carry permit holders in the state of Colorado, which is just under or over 17% of the population. That's not bad. That's a pretty decent ratio across the country. 600,000 concealed carry permit holders. How many of those came to Guns for Everyone? There's no way to know. I mean, we've had over 100,000 people come through our classes, but not everybody who comes to the class gets their permit. Not everybody stays in the state. And so there's no way to know how many people have gotten their permit because of us. But it's not a small number, I'll say that. So are we helping? I want to believe that we are. But I also want to leave open the idea that maybe we do legitimize the bad laws by participating in the bad laws, by facilitating the compliance of the bad laws. Edgar and I have not totally settled on whether or not we're going to offer the classes for the assault weapons, permission slip. We probably will, but this conversation has been going on for several months between the two of us, and I expect will continue to go on as we get closer to the implementation of that law next year. So I really want to know what you guys think about this. I want to know if you think that we're helping or hurting by participating in the permitting process by offering the free classes. And you can say whatever you want. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I might argue with you, but that doesn't mean my feelings are hurt. Don't mistake disagreement with dislike, or disagreement, or even agreement with like. I can agree with something you say and think you're a totally horrible person. So don't confuse the two. The arguing that happens in the comments is not personal. At least it's not on my side. So please let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you guys watching. Go check out the podcast, and I'll catch you next time.